Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. My name, of course, is Untitled Potato. This is Project Hospital with the brand new Infectious Diseases DLC. Now, we have a very big mission for today, and that mission is to try our very best to open an infectious diseases department. Since the last episode, I have skipped forward until the start of the day. Nothing much has really changed. We've treated, 5 patients? We're not in debt. We're not in debt even with a single penny, which is wonderful. I have no doubt that we are going to be very heavily indebted by the end of this episode, but you know what? That's a problem for future Potato. Anyway, let's evaluate what we want to do. So, we want to make sure that we get the infectious diseases department up and running. We want to make sure that we get a clinic up and running as well, so an outpatient facility, as well as hospitalization enabled. Now, before we do that, however, I do have sort of a micro mission, sort of a litmus test, which will perhaps determine how ready we are for hospitalization. We need to open 2 hospitalization elements of 2 differing departments. So, I would like to ideally enable hospitalization at the emergency department and also enable hospitalization at the general surgery department as well. That will mean that we're going to just tick off 3 insurance objectives straight away, which would be absolutely incredible. So that would allow us to get access to the intensive care unit, which is very cool. It would allow us to increase clinic patients per day to 15 for liver TY, and it would also give us a $25,000 government grant from the Progressive Insurance Company if we can open, as I say, the general surgery hospitalization department as well as the emergency hospitalization department. Cool. Okay, so without further ado, what do we want to start with? Well, I think that we want to start with general surgery. We already have got ourselves a regular a regular ward right over here, and I think, to be honest, we would benefit from getting a high dependency unit as well, right? I mean, that just makes sense. It just makes sense. A high dependency unit straight away. We'll just get it sort of opposite over there. We're obviously going to be heavily indebted by buying that building. That's fine. Or by buying that room, that's not a problem. Cardiography, sonography, diagnostic unit, on-call room, all of these things are required. We're going to start out fairly small. Over here, to be honest. I'm not overly concerned about the size of the department, but I would like it to be reasonably small. Let's just take out a good, like, $100,000 loan. Bear in mind that this is just to get the general surgery department up and running. It's going to take considerably more money in order to get the emergency department up online. Anyway, an on-call room. Do I want to get an on-call room over here? I do kind of want to get an on-call room. However, I'm going to end up getting additional foundations if I end up placing it over here. And do I really want to end up enduring that cost? To be honest, I feel like the answer is no. I feel like the solution to this problem is to sort out what we want to do on the ground floor first. So although I just said, oh, hey, let's start with the let's start with the general surgery, maybe I actually mean let's properly start on the ground floor with the emergency department. Primarily because I need to get some trauma centers. I've kind of like highlighted this a lot already, but getting a trauma center is pretty important, and we need to make sure that the trauma center is like over here somewhere. Mostly because the ambulance can only stop in this vicinity. And so if we get like trauma center, back to back over here, then that would be pretty excellent. Can I delete this? Yeah, we'll delete these trees. These trees are kind of unnecessary. So let's sort of plan out exactly what we want to go where. How many tiles is this? This is 24 tiles. 24 divided by, or 23. 23 divided by 4 is what, 6? If I'm not mistaken. So we can get ourselves a corridor down here, but I probably want to make sure that I get something else other than a corridor. And also, how big is a trauma center? A trauma center, if I was to stick it right here, 6x6, that's the prefab. All right, hear me out here, chat. Hear me out. I say chat, I mean everyone in the comment section. Hear me out. Let's do something like this. Okay, let's do something like that. That costs me 5 grand. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Don't, you know, don't sniff at it. But it is a lot of money. Trauma center right over here. Trauma center right over here. So that's 6. So that would be 6 up here. Right? Let's mark it out. We're going to need to build foundations over there anyway. And so that leaves us 17. Is that something that I'm okay with? I feel like maybe we see if we can just try and expand this by 1. And then that leaves us... what? 18? It's not divisible by 4, but... yeah, I think that's a little bit better. I think that's a little bit better. We've also got to bear in mind, what the heck do we want to put in here? Ideally, we probably want to have like a walkway, like a corridor along this way, along this route. And so that leaves us 14. What can we do with 14? I mean, what about an observation room or even an on-call room? An observation room is 14 by 6. That is actually sickeningly good. That is actually sickeningly good. If this works, then this is gonna be phenomenal. Okay, so this is gonna go right in here. Excellent. Costs us 23 grand. That's a lot of money, but that's okay. Observation room, big observation room. It's just about the best designed hospital in the entire darned world. Wow, okay. So that goes in there. Excellent. Now, the other thing that we got to bear in mind is I'm going to keep this area reserved for an observation room, and I'm going to keep this area reserved for another trauma center just down here. So that seems entirely reasonable. More doctor's offices, perhaps, in this vicinity. We do need to get ourselves, first of all, a nurse's station. A nurse's station, let's get ourselves a big nurse's station. Sure. That sounds fair. Let's also get a... let's leave a little bit of space. We'll leave a little bit of space over there. I'll keep this space free for another observation room. Because observation rooms will become fairly necessary going forward, I just suspect. I need another on-call room now, if that's alright. 6 by 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 6 spaces? I think that's 6 spaces, although we probably want to be careful. Maybe I just stick it next to the nurse's station. You know what? Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Again, you know, there's something to be said about prefabricated rooms. It doesn't necessarily feel like the most honorable thing to do. However, it does feel like the way that I can make this hospital as good as it needs to be. Now, there are a couple of holes in the system. We're undoubtedly gonna patch them up as we go. You know, don't pay it too much heed at this moment in time. Is that it? Is that all that we need? That's actually legitimately all that we need in order to make the emergency department work. Yeah, okay, so maybe I was, like, overestimating seriously the expense that we would have to undergo in order to get that department up and running. Certainly seems like it wasn't that expensive. Bear in mind, the trauma center cost the vast majority of that cash. Cost a lot of money. We do want to probably also get some ambulances. Ambulances are the primary way that people are admitted into the trauma center. So, you know, something to consider. I'm going to get a double door right over here. Excellent. Double door with oval windows. Yeah, let's go for that. Let's go for that instead. That looks very, very cool. I like it. I also want to get myself some nice nifty flooring. I'm going to get myself some tiles here, some double-lined. Okay, sure. Some double-lined red tiles to sort of signify that this is the sort of hospitalization wing of the emergency department. So we go from that horrible lino to this dark-colored tile. That's a good improvement, actually. I don't necessarily mind that. And all that we need to do in order to enable this department is to just hire some doctors. Hire some nurses. Cheap doctors, cheap nurses. Yes, please. We got plenty of desks for them. Brilliant. Hospitalization. We literally just need a night doctor and we need a night nurse. Brilliant. And brilliant. What do you know? we've unlocked the intensive care unit, which is pretty darn great. The intensive care unit is going to be pretty important, as it's where the cases that cannot be fixed anywhere else need to go to, but that's okay. We don't need to necessarily deal with that quite yet. Now, that gives us access to an entire extra area up here, which is really, really nice. Now, can I build a new floor? I don't actually want to build a new floor. I think we're just going to have to expand out here. However, we've already got this sort of infrastructure down here below. What do I want to build? What do I want to build for the general surgery department? We've got the HDU. We've got the regular ward. We need to get a diagnostic unit, an on-call room. I guess the on-call rooms could probably just sort of sit, like, right above where they are below. So yeah, we get ourselves an on-call room. The on-call room goes right in there. The nurse's station goes right in there. Excellent. That's pretty cheap comparative. It feels a little bit ridiculous how I have to buy the foundations again, even though I've already bought the foundations below. I'm rebuying them, so to speak. A diagnostic unit is essential. I don't think a cardiography or a sonography unit are actually that important, but diagnostic units are definitely important. I can tell you from experience that is the case. I'd love to stick that in there. However, that unfortunately is just not gonna fly. We also need to get an operating theater, an operating room. An operating room would fit quite comfortably in over here. Yeah, you know what? Let's get an operating room right over here. It's gonna cost so much money. How much does this cost? It costs 25 grand. Right, well, there we go. Sonography and cardiography unit. Both of those we're gonna want to end up getting. Diagnostic unit, 8x6. Let's throw that down as well over there. The corridors are already, you know, determined to be 4 wide, so I cannot really change that now. I am committed. There we go. And this needs to come down here too. Brilliant. Okay, so that wipes out my finance, but that's okay. We may very well be heavily indebted, but again, it's worth bearing in mind. You know, wouldn't be an orbital potato game series if there wasn't a copious amount of debt involved. I need a sonography unit. Oh, how perfect is that? Sonography unit, cardiography unit. Brilliant. That's actually excellent. We don't need a lounge. We don't need a lounge at all. If we were to have a lounge, maybe we want to put it somewhere else, but I mean that's fine. It doesn't actually need to exist at all. Also, general surgery needs a chief doctor. Do we have anyone that's remotely qualified? No. I tell you what, let's hire a doctor, because we're going to need to hire a doctor for here anyway. We will hire somebody who is highly trained in general surgery. Christopher Walker, excellent. Now, we need 3 doctors during the day. We need 2 surgery nurses. We need 1 surgeon. Right, well, let's get somebody who's good at operative surgery. Excellent. We need to get ourselves a 3rd doctor. Doesn't need to be anyone specific. Just needs to be somebody cheap. Well, it doesn't need to be somebody cheap, but it does need to be somebody. We need somebody who can do medical surgery. We need another person who can do medical surgery. And we just need a general, sort of generic 3rd nurse. Doesn't need to have any traits. These are the staff that we need for the day anyway. Staff during the night, we just need 1 singular doctor. Again, nothing special about them, apart from the fact they're cheap. And 1 nurse during the night. Again, it's a cheapness thing. Brilliant. And so that's another objective ticked off the list. Open hospitalization for any specialized department, increase patient clinics per day to 15, and enable hospitalization at the general surgery department, a $25,000 government grant, which is very, very nice indeed, if I do say so myself. So that allows us to pay off a couple of thousand in debt, which is quite good. It also allows me, whilst I recall, to do a little bit of walling off. Because it would be pretty bad. It would be pretty bad if somebody decided to just fall off the edge here. That would be That would be less than ideal, I will say. Right, I don't really want staff coming into this area here. I think I might restrict this. I think I might restrict this area. I'm gonna say this is... Yeah. Sure. So let's restrict this. Let's restrict this area to staff area only. Patients must have permission / invitation to enter. Yeah, that seems entirely reasonable. Right. Treat 20 patients per day at emergency. That's almost a certainty that that's going to happen. Treat 6 patients per day at the general surgery department. That's almost a certainty that that's going to happen. So that's great. Again, we can pick up the Medicare insurance group, but I don't want to. That sort of scares me a little bit. So we're gonna not do that. Yeah, things are gonna get very, very expensive for a little while, and I'm a little bit worried that things might get a little bit out of control. But the good news about adding all of these extra staff, adding all of these brand new extra buildings, etc., 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 is that we're going to be able to treat many, many more patients. We're going to be able to hospitalize patients. We're going to be able to do much more expensive treatments. One of the expensive treatments that is worth remarking upon, or a certain group of treatments that are worth remarking upon, thank you very much for interrupting my train of thought, video game, are treatments that are done in the operating theater. So surgery. Any surgery that is done is like very, very expensive and has got a good chance of making us a decent chunk of change, which is what I'm very, very, very much looking forward to. Very, very, very much looking forward to. General surgery department clinic is looking... It's looking empty, to be honest. Emergency department clinic, also looking empty. This feels good. This feels good. This feels solid. We've got a lot of staff wages to pay at the end of the day today. Not exactly excited about that. We spent $200,000 on building, which is terrifying. But again, that's okay. That is totally fine. Patient is collapsing. Honestly, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. However, we got some bad news. We got some bad news. The patient is collapsing and we don't actually have anywhere to put them. Now, the patient is being moved to the ICU, but we don't actually have an ICU. Now, I note that one of our objectives is to save a patient after collapse. If I wanted to get the ICU up and running, how much would it cost me? It would cost me a lot of money, I guarantee you. There's no clinic element, which is worth noting. However, there is everything else. There is everything else. We need an ICU building, and an ICU building it's flippin' expensive. I mean, look, in for a penny, in for a pound. I feel like that is terrible justification for what I'm about to do. Leverage myself for another $120,000 of debt. We go into the ICU, and we see if we can find a 16x6 ICU building here. I mean, this just seems like a bad idea, doesn't it? How many ICU beds is this? This is 3 ICU beds. I don't like the sound of that. I mean, that just strikes me as just a bad decision to make. You know what? Let's do it. So this needs to be 4 wide for the corridor. That's fine. So that's 4 wide. And then this goes up here. This is just future-proofing this, by the way. We're not actually going to do anything with this area quite yet. Although we might end up doing something with it. Let me just show you what I'm thinking. Right, so this is going to go like right here. Right in there. Yeah, that seems reasonable. This is going to cost me so much money. $58,000. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh boy. Oh boy, that's a lot of money. Then a nurse's station, I guess, could maybe go in here somewhere. And then we also need to get ourselves a doctor's office too. Or an on-call room. Do we get one on-call room here and then another on-call room or another nurse's station like here? It does mean that it won't be possible to traverse from this corridor to this corridor. which was kind of something that I was going for. How far is this? That's 16 tiles. That's almost crying out. In fact, that is crying out. That is crying out for an 8x6 nurses station and an 8x6 on-call room. Yeah, I mean, look, that is expensive. It is a lot of money. But to be brutally honest, if we didn't end up doing it now, then we would end up doing it at some point in the future. I am building a lot of foundation here. I'm building a lot of foundation. I'm also not using this space over here. I'm not using this space over here because this is all reserved for trauma centers, or it will eventually be. Oh, I didn't even realize that you could add perimeter walls around the foundation for free. How cool is that? Excellent. Very, very happy. Okay, so all we need is doctors, actually. All we need is doctors. We do need a couple of cleaning closets for different departments, but look, that's a problem for another day. Okay, we need to get a nurse during the day, a nurse during the night. I'm gonna see if I can try and stick to like one singular doctor. Kate Harris, you can be our one ICU doctor, and you're gonna be the best of the best. Okay, enable hospitalization at intensive care unit, and we have unlocked ambulances. Hurrah! Great, that's terrifying. Okay, give me some nice floor tiles. I shouldn't really be spending money on this, but that's fine. Okay, this is actually looking like a shockingly professional hospital. Let's pay down some of our debt. Wow, I'm $300,000 in debt already. That is embarrassing in the extreme. But actually, totally acceptable. Totally acceptable. Now, so, where's our patient that's collapsing? Hospitalized? Where are you? Oh, you're hopefully coming. You're hopefully coming to the ICU? Will it be too late? Do we have a nurse that's... Ah, yes, here comes the ICU nurse. I think this is the ICU nurse anyway. That looks to be the case. Either that or you're a... Either that or you are a... yeah, you're an emergency department nurse. So you're actually going to be taken to the trauma center, if I'm not mistaken. No, you're going to be taken directly to the ICU. Either way, wherever you want to go, that is great. Sometimes the patient, I believe, is taken to the trauma center. Other times, they're taken to the ICU directly. Okay, and as soon as you're moved into the ICU, the doctor is going to come rushing. And yep, you're going to undergo stabilization. Little bit of a long course of treatment, but that is what it is, unfortunately. Cool. Wonderful. We're going to get you stabilized. Brilliant. And you know what? That completes another insurance objective, which is kind of why I thought, hey, I'm going to see if I can try and build an ICU. We're going to need an ICU eventually anyway, and we're going to, we're going to be able to fulfill an insurance objective right now if we build the ICU, if we're able to treat the patient after they collapse. The ICU really is going to struggle to expand from here. I think we're probably going to want to get the ICU expansion on another level. This is probably about as much of this floor as we can afford to dedicate to the ICU at this moment in time. However, that may change. I may change my approach at some point later today, but the ICU is the ICU for now. Okay, brilliant. Treat 6 patients per day at the general surgery department. That's $20,000, which is going to go entirely towards paying off my debt. My huge debt. Right, I need to buy an ambulance, basically. Reach 80% prestige at the end of the day in emergency. We're probably going to fulfill that. Purchase 2 ambulances, increase ambulance patients per day to 3. Okay, look, we're going to be set. We're going to be set as soon as we buy an ambulance. The problem with buying ambulances, by the way, is that it does cost like 35 grand a pop. Interestingly enough, the new European-style ambulance. I must say, I do not recognize that style of ambulance. But maybe that's just me. That, again, is quite an American style of ambulance, but I'm not intimately familiar with the different European types of ambulances. Maybe I should be, but I'm afraid I'm not. Either way, things are looking good. Things are looking very, very good. We've got no patients that are complaining about the length of time that they've waited to see a doctor or about to leave or any of that nonsense. I don't think there's many patients waiting for test results either. which is surprising. Very, very surprising, to be honest. And that's good news. It's very, very good news. We don't want people waiting. Ooh, okay, so this is a bit of a problem. This is a bit of a problem. So, here we go. Here we go. Let me make sure that these corridors are all classified as such. There we go. The reason that these all need to be classified as corridors is that if they're not classified as corridors, then we're going to have a problem. There we go. That is not exactly ideal. That was exposing my staff to the elements because that little area was open over there, which was less than ideal. Either way, the cleaning staff should be able to now clean up with relative ease. Now, did I manage to reach 80% prestige at the end of the day? I haven't quite managed to hit that yet. Although it looks like I'm on course for it, to be honest. It looks like I'm on course for it. Prestige dips as soon as the day shift ends. And it usually recovers just before the end of the night shift. So that's just something to keep an eye out for. Either way, do we have enough janitors to do all of the cleaning that is required over the course of the evening? I hope we do. Right, and then let's just throw it into overdrive. And just before it hits midnight, we're gonna have a little peek at the prestige, see how we're doing. Today we're at 90%. It's above 80%. It's above 80% at emergency, which is important. Pretty much 5 stars actually across the board. Yeah, that ain't too shabby at all. All right, what do we got? 80% prestige at the end of the day, a $50,000 government grant. Wild celebrations of a national holiday cause more injured patients to come. 50% more injured patients arrive each day. We're up to 65 patients here. That's not bad, actually. That's not bad. We also managed to fulfill 1 day of the no untreated patients for 7-day thing. I don't know what the best way of going about solving this riddle actually is, because treating patients is difficult, and having this many untreated patients for 7 days is a challenge. This patient is collapsing. That's actually okay. I'm sure you'll be fine. You're going to be taken directly to the ICU. No, you're going to be taken to the trauma center. You're going to be taken to the trauma center where we're going to get the doctor to run down, undergo stabilization there. Looks like you were just dehydrated, to be honest, which was a little bit of a bummer, but that's okay. Don't even worry about it. We'll get you rehydrated in no time. And we will see if we can determine exactly what the heck is wrong with you over the next couple of hours, hopefully before morning. I can pay down my debt again, 40 grand or so. That's totally fine. I need to purchase like so many ambulances. That's literally it. That's literally it. Do I want to accept Medicare? I don't really think that I want to accept Medicare. I don't think I do. I don't think I do at all. It's just too many. It's just too many patients at this moment in time. It's just too many patients. I feel like it would just push me over the edge, especially given that I've got this modifier, right? The 50% more injured patients arrive each day modifier. I feel like maybe my next course of action is just to see if we can try and get an ambulance. The reason why I should purchase an ambulance, or maybe even 2 ambulances, is that even if it does end up bringing me more patients, which is a net negative, right? Because I don't think that I can really deal with that many additional patients at this moment in time. Also, how much did my night shift cost in cash? It costed about $2,400. Honestly, that's fine. We're gonna make that up. That's totally fine. Long wait for an examination. It's probably just because an angiography is a CAG room. It's probably because we don't actually have like night radiologists. We've got a night X-rayist, but that's it. I don't think I need to hire anyone else at this moment in time. Most of the stuff that we do can be done during the day. Anyway, the point that I was going to make, the reason that I probably want to free up 35 grand for an ambulance, as you do, is that it would help me clear some of my insurance objectives, and that is good. Advancing insurance objectives for the sake of advancing them is good, because it means that we can get onto new insurance objectives, which maybe, just maybe, will result in a whole bunch of money coming my way. So that's something to look forward to, right? All right, what can we do? Let's do a Keg Scan. That was useless. It didn't actually uncover a single new symptom. Wow. Is that not embarrassing? That feels somewhat embarrassing. Feels very embarrassing. Okay. Speaking of embarrassing, I'm about to commit a financial faux pas. I'm going to purchase an ambulance. I'm going to purchase a European-style ambulance. Sure, just because I've never seen one of them before. I've got $422 in my checking account. That's right, in my current account, as I would say, in the United Kingdom here. Either way, turns out that that's enough to get an ambulance. Bada bim, bada boom, we're now 35 grand in debt, but it's not actually debt. Doesn't count, I don't believe, as real debt. The only debt that counts as real debt is this number right here. Anyway, yeah, the reward is increase ambulance patients per day to 2, and the objective is fulfilled. This one is also fulfilled, which is great. Perform 1 surgeries, a $50,000 government grant. What did I do to deserve that, actually? Oh, we did a surgery. Appendicitis. Oh, excellent. Brilliant. Unfortunately, it was very, very cheap surgery, but that's fine. We're now cash positive again, which is excellent. Reach 80% prestige in any specialized department. That's fine. We will actually hit that. Treat 9 patients per day at the general surgery department. We're also going to hit that as well. Don't even worry about it. Create 1 doctor with the character editor in hiring card. Control doctors. Christopher Walker. I do like you, Christopher Walker. Select a doctor and all their patients to be controlled by the player. What? Select a doctor. How do I... Can I add you? Can I add... Is this a thing that I can do? Specialist mode? Oh, goodness gracious me. Alright, I must confess, I am... like... dramatically underqualified when it comes to talking about doctor mode. I do not understand doctor mode. Do not even slightly understand doctor mode. Create 1 doctor with character editor in hiring card. Okay, so presumably the hiring card is like here. Here, this is it. Character editor. Okay, I see what we're doing. Okay, let's say 40 years old. Excellent. Random. Sure, that looks kind of like me, I guess. Select 2. Comforting diagnostic genius. Fast. I do like being fast. Gamer, resting is much faster. I gotta be a gamer. Select 1. Unpleasant. Dirty feet. No. Hard worker. Does not take free time breaks. Slow learner. Slow learner seems like an appropriate trait for me, eh? Fraser Williams. You know what? You're gonna become Orbital Potato. How exciting is this? I'm getting my own character in the game. I didn't even realize that this was a thing, to be honest. Oh, cool. Accessories. Accessories mean glasses. Wrinkles. Oh, wow. When the wrinkles overlap the hair, you know that you're in trouble. Alright, look, I'm not going to faff around. This is it. There we go. Oopsie Corp can now be contracted to send patients. The reason that I wanted to do that, mostly because... holy cow, they give me a lot of money. They give me a lot of money per patient. 500 experience points for all player-created... What's that? Is that player-created doctors? Reach control doctors rating of 80%. Yeah, I have absolutely zero idea how doctors mode actually ends up working. Control doctors, orbital potato. Oh, I can select more people here. Christopher Walken, you're also pretty good. If I do indeed say so myself. Doctor's rating 90%. Yeah, what the heck does orbital potato do? Does orbital potato work? Does orbital potato work here? I don't actually know. He's probably dramatically underqualified here, but hey ho. Reach control doctor's rating of 80%. Excellent. Brilliant. Correctly diagnosed patients of control doctors in intern mode. Flippin' heck. Flippin' heck. Do I understand what's going on? No, not even slightly. Is that me? That's orbital potato. That is Orbital Potato. Supervised by Christopher Walker. Excellent. Christopher Walker will keep you right, Potato. Don't even worry about it. Okay, treat 9 patients per day at general surgery. That's almost certainly going to happen at some point today, which is great. The clinic's looking good. The clinic is looking very, very good. Oh, what was that? Oh, Potato, what have you gotten yourself into? Doctor's patients? You got a acute renal failure. I can just treat you with dialysis. There you go. Potato, go treat Carol Adams. Go treat Carol Adams. Code blue. Yeah. Just go do it. No. Okay, apparently patient that couldn't be treated is leaving. Acute renal failure, dialysis. Why can dialysis not be done? We can HDU hospitalize instead. Oh, that's a pain. Okay, so that's gonna reset our untreated patient numbers. I hate to see that, actually. There's no point in treating you. Hospitalized, waiting for transport to treatment. Blood transfusion. Why can we not do a blood transfusion? Just HDU hospitalize you instead. Okay. Excellent. Carol Lee. Blood transfusion. No, I need blood transfusion. That's what I need. Carol Adams. Where are you? You're being moved to treatment. Excellent. Is it Potato that's going to do your treatment? No, it's going to be a technologist, I think. Or is this a doctor? I have no idea. Okay, look, I don't really want to deal with... the patients. I must say, abdominal surgery? Oh, flippin' heck. Alright, turns out we're going to do an operation on this poor guy, Peter Foster. Blood transfusion has been finished. I mean, look, you can just go back to bed now. I guess, just chill out. Just chill out, that's fine. It's not possible for a patient to have the diagnosis. Okay, sure. Just do that. Numbing ointment, excellent. Don't even worry about it. Do I need to do anything? I don't think I need to do anything. You're just waiting for the surgical team. Patient that couldn't be treated is leaving. Again, okay. Look, there's some idiot that's in charge of this hospital that has not got the faintest idea about what he's actually doing. You know what? We're gonna remove this doctor from the list of controlled doctors. Flippin' heck, I ain't dealing with that. That is not something that I want to do. I mean, it's something that I want to do. It's not something that I want to do right now. I would rather not faff around with the perfect record that my hospital has. I say perfect record, far from it. Regular hospitalization is just not an option because we are seriously crowded here. Turns out we're gonna need to get ourselves a brand new regular ward. Brand new regular ward. We're gonna get it right here. Sure. Brand new regular ward right there. We can't get another regular ward in that area, but that's fine. We can deal with that later. Okay, good stuff. Stretch this up here. Excellent. Walls around there. That in there. That in there. Excellent. Okay, so that is just, you know, just a nice little bonus, really. Long wait for a bed. You should now be able to be regularly hospitalized. We only have one department at this moment in time, so it kind of makes sense why it's, like, constantly filled. Monitored patient is collapsing. You're collapsing in the ICU, though, so that's good. Another patient is collapsing to be moved to the ICU. Also, that's our first ambulance that I think has headed out, which is fine. 10 patients controlled doctors in intern mode. Intern mode. Okay, maybe I do want to control Orbital Potato then. Maybe I do want to control Orbital Potato. But if I control Orbital Potato, surely I'd rather control Jessica Adams? Or somebody like that? Treat 9 patients per day at General Surgery Department. Excellent. Surely I'd rather, you know, control somebody in the clinic so that I can actually diagnose people as opposed to working in the doctor's office, because that I don't really have much of an opportunity to diagnose people per se in the on-call room. Fistula of the intestine. Yeah, you're waiting for the surgery team. I hate to break it to you. Surgery can only be conducted during the day. Probably a good thing that that's the case, to be honest. We've got 4 people that are waiting for a surgery. Fair play, to be honest. Fair play. Patient died. I'm glad that it happened at the end of the day. Put it that way. I'm not glad that it happened. Peter Foster, you are the first patient. You're the first patient that died. I'm not happy about that. Not happy about that at all. That's a big bad news. Temperature measurement. I mean, that's not good either. Again, we got to probably take remedial action. It's almost unacceptable that patient numbers are so high. Look at that, 84 flipping patients. Like that is obscene, given that we've got a hospital that cannot deal with anywhere near that number of patients. That is a lot. That is a lot. Reach $5,000 of daily profit at general surgery. Reach 80% prestige at any specialized department. Honestly, I'm surprised that we didn't hit that already, but we probably will tomorrow anyway. Correctly diagnosing patients. We've already talked about the way that we go about doing that. It's by getting control of somebody in the clinic as opposed to somewhere else. I'm gonna wait until the morning, and then we're just gonna select a doctor and we're gonna stick with him. I think that's the plan anyway. We'll see if it works. Patient is collapsing. I'm sure that patient will be fine. We've got our ambulance. Although the trauma center bed apparently is not free. 2 patients are collapsing. Collapsed patient is waiting for a bed. The trauma center ain't free. And so somebody's going to get picked up and taken away. Don't know what you're doing here. You've almost certainly got something that is wrong with you in the general surgery department. So I'm going to move you somewhere else, if that's the case. I have absolutely no idea why that's not already been done. Procedures are finished for a diagnosed patient. Fine. Banned ligation. Excellent. I really hope that it's not me. Right, it's the day shift, it's the day shift, it's the day shift. You, Jessica Garcia. I am going to take this opportunity to see if I can control Jessica Garcia. Is it possible? It's not possible. Robert Hall. Can I control Robert Hall? Who can I control? Who can I control? Frank Hall? Is it just people in a certain area? I feel like I must be able to control more people than that. Frank King. Carol King. Mary Williams. Mary Harris. Is it just people in general surgery? Is that what I'm missing perhaps? Charles Cole. Charles Cole. Okay, he's a controlled doctor. Excellent. You as well. James Lewis. Congratulations, you're now a controlled doctor too. Alright, Susan Taylor. What's up with you? Okay, so this is actually good because it demonstrates exactly what we want to do. So we want to hopefully diagnose with either irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, or pancreatic insufficiency. Wow, what a crazy world. Okay, so what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna do an abdominal palpitation, if that's at all possible. You've been examined, and we've not been able to determine exactly what the issue is. So what we're gonna see if we can determine now is if you've had diarrhea. Although if you've already been interviewed, then you don't have diarrhea. So that we can pretty much disregard. We can pretty much disregard Crohn's disease, right? I'm just thinking, right? I'm just thinking out loud here. What else? What else can we do? What else can we do? We can do bloating, but abdominal palpitation would have sorted that out as well. I think we just do a blood test, to be honest. Run a blood test. Run a blood test, see what the situation is there. And we'll keep an eye on this patient right here. Orbital potato. What have you got? What have you got? You've got band ligation. You need regular hospitalization. Are you... Yep, you're already in bed. Excellent. Procedures are finished. Interview. We can diagnose you with that. Excellent. And we're going to give you a treatment option as well. That's cool. This is a little bit jank, by the way, but it is what it is. Okay. You've got HUS. You need a blood transfusion. I think that needs to be... That needs to be something that is done after hospitalization. So let's get you into the hospital. Excellent. Patient is waiting for treatment. I have given you what you need, and then I'm going to send you home. Excellent. Nurse specialist, brilliant. Okay, correctly diagnosed patients of controlled doctors in intern mode. Does this mean that I win the game? Do I win here? Have I won the game? Hospitalized, waiting for a free room. Yes, I thought as much. I thought as much. Right, interview is finished. What do we got? You've either got these two things. Okay, what do we want to test for? Thorax percussion or oral cavity inspection? I think an oral cavity inspection will determine in the fastest fashion. There's a lot of stuff to be getting on with here. Charles Cole, you've got something that we need to do. What do we want to see if we can try and look for? Oh, goodness. Do a physical examination? Sure, just do a couple of things, okay? Just do a couple of things. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Oral cavity inspection. Has that determined what the issue was? No. Then let's have a little look. Let's try thorax percussion then, shall we? Let's do it. Speech listening. Did that determine what was wrong with James Robinson here? No. No, it didn't even slightly. Cool. Alright, just do a whole bunch of tests. Thorax percussion. Again, you still have got no idea. We still have absolutely no idea what we've got wrong with you. Alright, fine. We need to determine that one last hidden symptom. I'm trying my flippin' best here. Patient is collapsing. Who is this? Is this my patient? Oh, flippin' heck. This is crazy. Okay, you know what? Just do a whole bunch of flippin' tests, okay? You know what? I know. It's tough being a doctor. It is tough being a doctor. Okay, we'll give you a barium swallow. We don't even need a barium swallow. Just give me this. Antivirals. Excellent. Have I diagnosed somebody? Does this count as a diagnosis? Please tell me this counts as a diagnosis. You examined. You're doing a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, excellent. Does this count as a win? Please. Please, this should definitely count as a win. I would very, very much like this. Being called Susan Taylor, what's wrong with you? We're gonna do some stool sampling. I'm almost certain that is gonna be, we'll do those two tests and hopefully that'll make a difference. James Williams, you are literally just waiting to be treated with antivirals and then you're gonna be sent home. Excellent. Does that count? Correctly diagnosed patients of controlled doctors in intern mode? I would just love to be able to diagnose patients in intern mode. Can I do it? Okay, I have no idea. We're gonna have to faff around with this later. I don't want to be responsible for doctors at this moment in time. It's difficult enough being in charge of a flippin' hospital. Michael Scott? The Michael Scott? Primary peritonitis. Okay, so look, that's all going on in the background. I think we're going to end up turning a profit. I think we are absolutely going to end up turning a profit, which is great. Reaching 80% prestige at a specialized department, I think we're going to hit that as well. $5,000 of profit in the general surgery department. Is that likely? No. No, it's not. Not unless we do a whole bunch of additional operations over the course of today. To be fair, that is a possibility. We are doing a couple of ops today. I hope that we've got another couple of ops planned. We do, actually. We have 2 ops planned. Robert Adams, you're waiting for a free operating room. Don't even worry about it. It's going to happen right now. Waiting for the surgical team. The surgical team may very well be able to do one last surgery today before we finish up for the evening. Or not. A couple of patients are collapsing. Look, we're over capacity here. We're definitely over capacity. I'm not happy about this situation. Collapsed patient is being transported to another hospital. Look, again, it's not exactly ideal. It's not exactly my fault. Doesn't feel like it's the end of the world, but at the same time, it doesn't feel great either. Right, so general surgery department managed to turn $1,400 of profit today. It's not much at all, but it's better than nothing. $5,000 of daily profit is an ask. It is an ask. Okay. Do I want to stop somebody? I do. I'm gonna stop uninsured patients coming in. We just got too many. We've just got far too many patients coming in. It's just not good. We're losing prestige because we're losing patients. We're losing prestige because we're losing patients, because we cannot dedicate the amount of time to each patient that we need to. Maybe we honestly even stop cheapo care as well. I think maybe that's the play here. We may be able to reach 80% prestige at any specialized department. I think that is what we're probably going to be able to do. Excellent. That's a $50,000 government grant. Very, very nice indeed. Terrible news article about your facility. Causes 40% of patients to go to a different hospital. I mean, you could have chosen a better day to do that, video game. I just turned off all of my insurance contracts. But whatever. Treat 10 patients per day at any specialized department. Look, we'll absolutely do that. We'll absolutely do that over the course of today. You don't even need to worry about it. You don't even need to worry about it even slightly. Anyway, the good news is that we can either pay down our debt. Or we can start work on a brand new infectious diseases department. Now, I don't actually think that I'm going to be able to get the entirety of the infectious diseases department up and running. However, what I can do is get the clinic area up and running, and that is what I want to get done right now. And I kind of want to make this a little bit unique and a little bit funky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a, let me go down to the bottom level. I'm going to build a walkway, but it's going to be an exterior walkway, and it's going to be the connecting area over here. We're actually going to have a completely independent building. I say a completely independent building. It might not be completely independent, but it's going to aim to be completely independent. And hopefully it's going to allow me to treat the patients that need to be treated independently of the major hospital. But at the same time, I might choose to at some point sort of just incorporate the two buildings together. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, let's throw this down here. So that cost me $5,000. That's actually not very much at all. So this is a DID office. An infectious diseases office represents the outpatient clinical office for simple examinations and treatments. And we require an epidemiologist. It's literally that simple. Okay, maybe a secondary DID office then, if that's the case. So we'll throw down, like what, another one over here, something like that. And then we throw down the foundations in the middle. And then we sort of just work our way out around here. Now, the thing that I do want to also get is a waiting room. That's going to be pretty important for me. Mostly because waiting rooms are pretty important. Isolation units, that's going to have to wait, unfortunately. A restroom. This is going to be a big, juicy restroom, isn't it? Huge. Huge establishment. Okay, you know what? Fine. We can make a nice huge establishment. That is fine. It doesn't look like a waiting room is a prefab that we've got access to, at least not over there. Do I want to just use a prefab waiting room? I feel like I kind of do, to be honest. A reception? Flippin' heck, this is a large reception. That's a mahoosive reception. A 6x6 reception seems much more reasonable. Yeah, whatever. Let's roll with that, and then you know what? Let's see if we can try and get a prefab waiting room. I actually built my own reception areas in the main hospital. You can't really tell, can you? No, you can't really tell. You can definitely tell. You can definitely tell. Okay, so do that. Throw up some walls around the exterior of the building. Let's throw in a door over here. We're going to get a double sliding door right over here. And this is going to be our infectious diseases area. How crazy is this? Wait, hold up. Did I build that? Oh, it's wrong. Okay, this needs to be zoned as a reception. Yep, zoned as a reception. An infectious diseases reception. That was what it was incorrectly labeled as. And then that needs to be zoned as a waiting room. So that's pretty good. We just need to literally get a doctor or an epidemiologist, or a doctor with an epidemiology specialty. Bada bim, bada boom. What do you know? We've got an infectious diseases department. How terrifying is that? Let's actually hire a second doctor. Let's hire somebody who's a little bit more qualified, perhaps. We don't really have that many qualified doctors to choose from, but that's fine. Daniel Robinson, excellent. Congratulations. You're the chap that we're after. And we'll just hire as well a receptionist, which is grand. Okay, now somebody is going to come in here and use the vending machine 4 times. The same person is going to use the vending machine. Honestly, you know how video game companies sometimes talk about like whales. You know people who spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars on microtransactions in any given game. Well, I mean, look, I'm looking for whales, but I'm looking for vending machine whales, right? It's the same sort of concept. We're looking for people who are going to spend like $100 on the vending machine. Honestly, that one person, I have no idea who you were, but congratulations, you spent a lot. Serologic sampling. The reason that serologic sampling is taking such a long time to complete is that I believe, do we even have anyone that does tests during the evening? Yeah, we do. We do have people that do tests during the evening. So I mean that should be sorted. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, skipped after waiting too long. Waiting for a free examination room. Is this perhaps done in? It's done in a hematology lab. So there is no reason why it shouldn't be done. It's probably just because we don't have enough nurses to like run errands and stuff. You are needing to be transferred up to the HDU of general surgery, but the reason that you can't be moved over there is because we don't have enough nurses, or we don't have enough stretchers, or we don't have enough something. Yeah, probably not exactly ideal. We really probably should hire some more staff, right? I think that that's probably a given. Yeah, okay, so let's hire some more staff. Let's just hire as many as we can. Let's hire some really, really, really cheap staff. Yeah, I'm sure that we're gonna find stuff to do. Also, something else that we should consider is that staff satisfaction is probably fairly low in a couple of departments because we don't have a common room. We don't have a common room up here. We probably need one. Oh no, actually, tell a lie. We do have a common room. Monitored patient is collapsing. That's fine. Look, what I'm really interested to see is what the heck is going to happen in our infectious diseases area. Tibola. Tick-borne something or other. Oh my goodness gracious me. Okay, well, you've been diagnosed with that. You just need a cheap drug to fix you right up. Excellent. Well, I'm delighted to help diagnose you there, buddy. That's pretty darn cool. A couple of monitored patients are collapsing, but that's okay. This area, by the way, is hopefully going to expand to be the hospitalization area of the infectious diseases unit, if you'd like. How effective it's going to be at containing things, I don't know. Also, staff can get infected, by the way. Staff can definitely get infected. Not accessible for patients. Hold up. Biohazard area, entry only with protective face mask and gloves. Yeah, so if I do this, patient that couldn't be treated is leaving. Appendicitis, but you've had the surgery. Oh, no, you can't be hospitalized because there's no free bed. Oh, that's a bit of a pain in the backside. Okay, so I think I'd rather just have all of the doctors that are entering this area. I'd rather just have them all enter with a mask on or whatever. You need to be hospitalized, and you just can't be hospitalized. There's no valid waiting room. Okay, you know what? Turns out this was a bad mistake. You know what? Just this is a go area now. Everyone can come in here. Don't even worry about wearing a mask. Don't even worry about it. We'll deal with that later. Okay, 31 patients, and we're not able to treat them all. That is a travesty, a real travesty. I think we need to get an HDU. I think we need to get an HDU in general surgery as quickly as we possibly can. Yeah. High dependency unit. I mean, where can we stick this? Right over there, as it seems appropriate to do so. Cool. Right, so that HDU hopefully is going to make a difference, at least. There's no waiting room. Beg to differ. Waiting room right here, buddy. It's probably just because I faffed around. It's probably because I faffed around with this whole wearing a mask thing. There is definitely a valid waiting room. Look, there's definitely a valid waiting room. Ditch that. See, it's simple. It's simple. There is a valid waiting room. Treat 10 patients per day at any specialized department. Excellent. And that's going to give us yet more patients, which is grand. Reach prestige of 90%. That's cool. I can just about handle that. What I can't handle is the fact that my patients keep collapsing. We seem to have a hospital full of patients, even though I've only accepted 31. Our ambulance is pretty regularly on the go, and it feels like we're constantly behind on our surgeries. But if we could just get ahead of our surgery plan, then that would be great. It'd be really, really good if we could do that. Yeah. Okay, maybe with this additional room, we'll be fine. We might not be, but we also might be. Either way, the fact that we've got this sort of hospitalization outpatient unit anyway is a really, really, really good start. I'm very, very happy with it as well. Isn't this such a cool image? I'm just really excited about the fact that we're going to get an isolation unit. I mean, look, we need to clean the place up. It's starting to look a little bit messy, but are there enough free nurses to transport the patient? Probably not, to be honest. Probably not at all. Yeah, probably not, actually. Patient that couldn't be treated is leaving. Okay, you know what? Let me go into the ICU. Let me see if we can get, like, another... That's a doctor. I need a nurse. Yeah, get 2 nurses. Sure. 2 additional nurses. That seems totally reasonable. Abdominal surgery has been busy for a long time. I thought I was ahead on my surgeries. Look at this. Look at this. What am I doing? What am I doing? What the heck is happening? We just need to be constantly doing surgeries up here. It's kind of insane, actually. That's kind of insane. I have no idea how we speed up our surgeries, but oh my god. But it needs to be done somehow. It needs to be done somehow. However, I gotta say, we gotta choose we gotta choose when to end the episode, and I'm choosing to end the episode now. All in all, though, I mean, look, the fact that we got another department up and running, the fact that we got a whole bunch of hospitalization departments up and running, hospitalization, you know, add-ons to departments, it's very, very nice. It's very, very good. Very, very happy with how things are going. Thanks, as ever, to the fantastic supporters over on patreon.com/potato. Also, thanks to Banana Nanana and C Senpai for being the two $25 plus tier patrons. If you do understand this insurance objective, the Oopsie Corp, let me know in the comments, folks. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.